All right, so the heel flap is now done and my heel turn is now done. The next step is to do the gusset, which is we're going to go back to knitting in the round again. What we need to do is pick up the stitches. Here we go. Pick up the stitches that are along the heel flap. This actually worked out nicely having it two different colors so you can clearly see what we're doing. So to pick up the stitches along the heel flap, I actually pick up the stitches with another needle. And I know it's odd to think about a needle that's smaller than a size 1, but I do happen to have a size 0. But you could just use the other end of your double point needle don't do that yet if you're going to do that, because you want to finish knitting this row across first. All right, so to pick up these stitches, because we slipped the first stitch of each row, we have this nice little knit edge where you can clearly see where each of your stitches are. So you see the stitch here, here, here. That one's a little fuzzy, but that's what we're picking up. Luckily, because I have the two different colors, you can see that this stitch right here is actually part of not the heel flap, but part of the leg. So what you want to make sure when you start picking up your stitches, that if the thread that's connecting that stitch is on your needle, this stitch then is actually part of the leg and not part of the heel, so you don't want to pick that up. Or some people actually do pick it up and try to take care of the little opening that comes in there sometimes. All right, so I'm going to pick up, and I'm picking up on the back flap, the flap closer to the inside of the sock. I'm doing that because then you're going to have this nice little smooth edge on the inside, and you'll have a lip of a sort on the outside. And I am only picking up the inside loop of each stitch. So there's one, there's one. This fuzzy guy is hard to see, but there's one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for me, it's easier to pick the stitches up going from back to front, like this. And you see how with my left thumb, I am just sliding it right along to keep the stitches all lined up, so that as I do this, I can just make sure I'm getting that back loop of each stitch. All right. There we go. Now when I get up here, it's always hard to tell where you pick up and where you don't. I am not going to pick up this green stitch right up here because that's actually still part of that stitch that's on the needle. So basically I'm done picking up my stitches right here. All right, it may look like you need to pick up one more, but this green stitch that's here is the one that was done with the SSK. And again, that stitch is already in this stitch. So I don't want to pick that one up. Now, before I can actually start this, I'm going to have to knit across. This is why I said don't use the other end of your double point. I need to knit across here first. So I'm slipping the first stitch again, then I'm knitting across, and I'm still going to leave that marker in the middle. All right. So I'm knitting across my heel flap, leaving the marker in the middle, working my way all the way across. All right, that's my heel flap. Now I'm going to start knitting all these stitches that I picked up. And if you look at them, do you see how they're basically on backwards? They should be on this way. But I actually want them on that way because what I'm going to do is knit like this. And by doing that, can you see that I'm putting a little twist in that stitch as I'm knitting it? By doing that, it makes that stitch nice and snug, so you don't have gaps between your leg or your heel flap and your gusset. So I'm coming in and I'm knitting it like this and putting a twist in it. If I did knit it just the regular way, like this, can you see how you'd have that gap? But by having it this way, then I'm going to put that twist. If you happen to pick the stitches up so that they are on your needle the correct way, then what you actually want to do is knit through the back loop to put a twist in it. All right. So I'm just going to keep knitting along until I get to the end of this needle, and then we'll do the next video.